Hello, 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 hello. Good to see you. Hi, Sim. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm happy to see you. So, how have you been? How's yesterday? How have you found the series? We are beginning a new one. Grace, I know you don't want to see half the screen, but you have nothing to do. Good to see you anyway. So, Grace, Sim, good to see you. Your Sim is there. Today she's on time, but she's always on time anyway. Yes, Hajara, 3 days missing, but it's okay. You can find the recording on YouTube, right? Hmm? Can find the recording on YouTube. But good to see you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's always actually a pleasure to see you guys. It's always a pleasure to see you. For those who are new on this platform, my name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You, and this channel is dedicated to those who are in the process of rediscovering. Of course, you already discovered who you are somehow as soon as you got into this world. But this is a process of rediscovering your identity. It's about identity alignment, moving away from survival mode, identity misalignment to identity alignment, building systems and structures around every area of your life so that you can step into your true leadership authority to the end that you can ensure continuity, sustainability of your vision, what you're building, what you have encountered, uncovered. It's basically a transformation process that you go through to get to navigate your pathway, create your roadmap, get to know what are those innate abilities, what are those obstacles that have been hindering me from flourishing in my true identity. How do I move from obscurity to light? Okay, and that's exactly what this is all about. How do I make sure that I preserve and guard what I have been blessed with? And we've been going through the Empty Vessel series. Before, it was the Journey series, which actually reviewed our transformation process. And we first had our case study in the Empty Vessel series, the widow with her oil and the two sons. Her husband died. Then she was supposed to pay a debt that the husband had left behind, but she did not have anything to use to pay for the debt, right? And then her two sons were being taken by the creditors. So that was that was when she received the instruction to lock herself up. She came in empty, she left with inheritance. So, what have you come with? Hmm? What have you come with? Are you empty? That was the Empty Vessel series. This one is the Blind Man Blueprint series. Now, we're going to have another case study, a series of another case study of a man who was blind. He came blind, he left seeing. What exactly transpired? What was the transformation? What are the lessons for us to learn? This is for you to um, this is to encourage you that you can also come in broken, blind, empty, deaf, done, everything, and you get out totally different, transformed. So, as you are navigating your pathways, building your human blueprints, creating your roadmaps, each and every lesson comes with revelation for you, insight, education, guidance, something that's going to enable you to continue building, continue rediscovering, continue evolving, building capacity, taking advantage of all the opportunities that come. But then how do you also ensure that you preserve and continue, pass on the baton to the next generation? That's what this platform is all about. It's about building beyond you. Okay? So, good to see you, Juliet. Hajara, you've been lost, and I'm glad to see all of you. Hi, Mia. Good to see you. Hi, everyone in the building. I like that. Grace, thank you. I hope Brenda is on her way. Where is Casey? Mia, where is your twin? You better check on her. Okay. So, as you can see, the blind man blueprint. He came blind, he left seeing. What do we learn? What is the transformation process from this particular man? We're going to go through a lot of um, we're going to understand. Hi, Casey. How are you? Good to see you. We're going to understand a lot of things here that we also experience as people, and as we go on, there's a lot that is uncovered on your side, right? So when I say the blind man blueprint, yeah, seen before he could see, before he could see, someone needed to see him and enable him and hold his hand. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. And as you can see in John 9:1, it said, and Jesus passed by. He saw a man which was blind from his birth. He passed by. Had he not passed by, would this man have been seen? Had he not passed by, would this man have been seen? No. But he passed by. Okay? So before the blind man could actually see, someone else saw him. Anything that has happened in your life that has been an area of darkness and light came, you must have had an encounter, right? Now you'll see that I'm going to be explaining the transformation process in these case studies that we're going to be dealing with, so that you can relate to yours and navigate your pathway easily. Okay? So before the blind man could see, someone else saw him, right? And transformation often begins long before a person actually gains clarity. You may think that transformation is happening when you have the knowledge, when you're gaining the clarity. No, but it's happening way before you even get the clarity. Because imagine someone saw him. That was already the beginning of transformation, even before he spoke to him, even before I speak to you, even before anybody else speaks to you, even before you speak to anybody else. The moment the synchronicities in the spirit align you to, the transformation has already begun way before it was written that you're going to meet this person this day and this time. That's why they say, wait for your appointed time. The moment heaven identifies a condition that the person themselves are not fully in understanding of, but they open themselves to transform, to move from a position of obscurity, of darkness to light, to get to know what is the reason as to why everything is the way it is. Even if I cannot explain it, okay, can I get help? There are so many people who are living in emotional darkness, relational darkness, spiritual blindness, confusion, grief, fear, rejection, limitation, cycles that you cannot even explain. And not because they are evil, no, but because there are areas in their lives where light has not yet entered. Oh, I forgot to bring the charger. Let's get the charger, guys. Sorry. Sorry about that. And sometimes it takes an encounter. Sometimes it takes an encounter to actually draw light in that area of darkness. It could be just something as small as the example that I'm going to give you. Yesterday, I met someone as I was just talking, and she was so sad, she was crying. So I was compelled to ask her, what's wrong? Is there anything I can do to help you? And she was like, Oh, I just have this issue, and then I said, if you need someone to talk to, just talk. You don't know me, I don't know you, so there's nothing to lose. Just talk. Maybe you never know what this conversation would lead to. So we started talking and talking and talking, digging deeper, digging deeper, digging deeper, digging deeper. Revelation after revelation. Then she finds out that she needed. I tell her, you need to go and apologize. She said, you're so right. Can you imagine? I had not realized. Now, in the conversation, I don't want to talk about the conversation in detail, but in the conversation, as we went deeper and deeper, her herself highlighted where all this came from. But you see, when you are alone, you can be so focused on what is going on at the moment and forget to sit down, reflect, where did this come from? How can, and no one can blame you. That's why we keep saying we need accountability partners. Now, this was an area of darkness for her, and it just needed one thing: go and say sorry. Go and say sorry. And then let's see how we can deal with this particular area. Slowly by slowly, I can teach you how to deal with this challenge. So you see, what she was experiencing, the intention was to reveal a hidden limitation or obstacle that was hindering her as a person. But you see, you need someone to pass by. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to help you monetarily. Doesn't have to be money. Doesn't have to be money. You can be stuck, and all you need is just a word, just one statement, and then phew, you fly like a bird. So was she evil? No. Did she make mistakes? Yes. Does everybody make mistakes? Yes. But the problem was escalating to another level. And by the time you know it, things have scattered completely when it would have been just something small like this. So everyone needs to get on their knees and pray for someone to pass by. Just like the widow. She was confused. The creditors have come. I have a debt to pay. The children are being taken. Like, what do I do? That was when she went to Elisha. What do I do? Sometimes because we don't ask. Ask. What do you want? Your answer may just be in your mouth. Oh, you asked a question, sorry. Kezia, I had not seen the question you asked. But it's actually on that. Let me give it to you here. But it starts from there. That's how it starts. That's that verse 1. Yeah. So sometimes it's not that you are stuck. Sometimes you just need a person. You need a person. And you see, blindness is not always physical. Yeah. A person can see physically, a person can speak intelligently, a person can function publicly, they can still be blind internally. But when everything here on the outside, they are okay. They are functioning very well. They are speaking very intelligently. They are seeing physically. But you know what? Blindness can appear as wrong perception. It can appear as emotional immaturity. It can appear as repeated cycles. Why are they repeating? Because you are blind. It can appear as an inability to see personal responsibility. I need to take personal responsibility for this, but you don't see it. It can be an inability to discern solutions, like you're experiencing this challenge, but you cannot discern the solution. Then somebody comes and just says one word, and I can imagine I've been bothered with this thing. And it can be an inability to recognize what God is revealing through a challenge. So, like you're experiencing a challenge, but you're so focused on the challenge when you just need to ask the right questions. That lady that I met yesterday, she was seeing pain. She was blaming the pain on somebody else. Meanwhile, the person she had hurt. She was experiencing rejection, conflict. She could not yet see her contribution, the root cause, and a solution. Just go and say sorry. As simple as that. Yes, it's a new series. Yeah, it's a new series. Let me first put the page so that you can see it properly. This is the new series. We are looking at another case study. The last time we were looking at the empty vessel series, which was also a case study of the transformation system. And it was a totally different experience. But you see where it led to. Now we want to see where this one that is an ailment is leading to. It may look like an ailment, but it may not necessarily only be healing of that disease or sickness. But we can be delivered through knowledge. Where are we blind? As we go on, you'll understand what I mean. I'm giving you an example of somebody who was blind because of just one thing that they needed to do. They just needed to go and say sorry and save a whole marriage that was going down. The guy was saying, I'm done. I'm done. This cannot continue going on. And all he needed was a practical, logical, step by step solution of how that problem is going to be solved because they've been experiencing it continually. So, how do we sort it? So, all she needed to do was to go and get oil. The widow that the widow was collecting, not just to say sorry, but sorry with a practical solution. Because we women are emotional, but men are logical. What are we going to do about it? Sorry doesn't cut it. You've said sorry so many times. What are we going to do? So the moment clarity came in, light entered. And the moment light enters where darkness is, confusion just decreases. Your emotions stabilize. You start having an understanding of things. Your perception completely changes. But what is that transformation principle that we are looking for here? Hmm? Kezi, you were asking, I think that one is okay. You've seen the verse. Hmm? What is that transformation principle that we are looking for? Every challenge reveals an area where light is still needed. Every challenge reveals an area where light is still needed. So when you are experiencing challenges in this particular area, ask, where is the darkness coming from? Darkness doesn't always mean evil. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it may not be. But sometimes, let me give you the other way, where it doesn't necessarily mean evil. It can mean lack of understanding. It can mean lack of exposure. You are ignorant about something. It can be lack of healing. It can be lack of mentorship. It can be lack of perspective. Lack of perspective. As simple as that. And you can struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle. But you see, when we go back to the transformation process that I gave you, The encounter principle, how does it come in? Jesus was passing by, not so. The blind man did not go searching first. No, because he was blind, he was seated, just waiting for people to throw in coins in the cup. He didn't search, but he happened to be passing by. What was that? That was a divine encounter. I want to give you examples of divine encounters, as many as I can, so that you can now start having a very deeper understanding of what encounters mean. Encounters, it doesn't mean that you are going to go and encounter. Sometimes you can be seated and the encounter finds you, like the blind man. He did not go to the encounter found him. So sometimes you can be crying, crying, crying. Sometimes you just need to be still and say, eh, okay, tell me what to do in the meantime, because so that you don't focus on the problem. So for him, he woke up, he didn't focus on his blindness. He woke up, probably they carried him, they take him to that particular spot. He waited with this money making team and he sat. He didn't search. But Jesus passing by reveals divine encounters. Everybody needs a divine encounter, a divine interruption, a divine visibility, a divine timing based on what you're going through at that particular moment. Like you say, I stumbled on your channel. You didn't stumble. It was a divine encounter. You see, you can be a conversation away from clarity. You've been having a challenge with this particular area. And it can be just on a conversation. But sometimes we are too busy. We can be like this. And it could be in a conversation. Sometimes you need to put it off and just stare. What if the conversation is going to come by you just staring and noticing? Not all the time that you should be on the phone. Someone will just encounter a healing just like that. You can help someone, and before you know it, you receive clarity from what you've done about an area of darkness. And you're like, oh my God. And then the revelation has come. And you're healed in that area. You can be one question away from transformation. Just one question. Then the answer comes. Your transformation has come through. One perspective away from breakthrough. Just one perspective. And the door opens. That's why I'm saying blindness is not necessarily physical blindness. The lady that I met yesterday did not need money. All she needed was reflection, clarity, and understanding. As we were going back and forth, she started reflecting. She said, oh no. And there I was going to lose something very important to me. She needed somebody who was not in her emotion, who could see beyond her emotion and speak objectively in this conversation. Because when you're going through these emotions, you need another eye, ear, mouth to have a conversation with you so that you wake up from this slumber of the pain is just too much. Yeah, you could be going through pain, but then you need somebody else to help you see it from a different perspective. That is why mentorship, discipleship, counseling, teaching, and prophetic insight is very powerful. Because God can send someone to bring light into an area that you are not seeing clearly in just a second. So it doesn't matter how, what you have been through. It doesn't matter what you have been through. You just have to fine tune your perspective about things. Imagine when you look at that, when you continue with that verse properly, as Jesus was talking to the man, the disciples were like, but first wait a minute, who sinned? Now you see, what was their first reaction? Which all of us can, we can all be a victim of that. Who sinned? Was it the man or the parents? So immediately they searched for blame. Does that happen to you? Our natural perception can just shift to blaming most of the time. As in, that's human perception. They're not to blame. Who caused this? Yeah. Who failed? Hmm? Who was in wrong? Hmm? Who should we blame? But you see, Jesus shifted the perspective entirely, entirely when he said, you're asking the wrong questions. What can God do? Not every challenge should be approached through who did this? What happened? Who failed? Not every challenge should be approached through blame. Every challenge you experience, sometimes you need to just because you see, some situations that we find ourselves in and be platforms for growth. It can come as a challenge, but it's a platform for growth. It's a platform for revelation. It's a platform for healing. It's a platform for transformation. It's a platform for manifestation. But you need to see. And you see, just like that iceberg there, a mature leader does not only identify problems. No. A mature leader identifies hidden needs, identifies hidden pain, identifies hidden blindness. You, as a leader, as a steward, as a visionary, yours is to identify where is the pain because you're the problem solver. Do you understand now? You have a team of people, or you're yet to have a team of people, you're yet to have run a business or something. Your role as an overseer, as a leader, as a visionary, as a steward is to see the hidden needs, identify the hidden pain, the hidden blindness, the hidden opportunities, the hidden everything that is hidden that needs to you, because they're doing the work you do, the leadership insight. You see, the disciples were seeing sin. That's why I say we all have eyes, but what do we see? Jesus was seeing possibility of someone receiving their sight and teaching from their experience. What did they go through all through those years when they were blind? How did they maneuver here and there? I mean, those, you understand? The disciples were seeing judgment. Who is to blame? The parents or this guy himself? What was Jesus seeing? Manifestation. We were seeing problems. There's a problem here. But what was Jesus seeing? An illustration of God's work. So, what is that problem that you're experiencing? I want you to look at that graph very well, or that image that I have put there. Hmm? One, this is encouraging. You see, when you think about transformational leadership, the transformation that you're going through right now, yeah, when you actively involve team members in problem solving, in decision making, and goal setting processes, they foster an environment of trust, open communication, and mutual respect. That transformational look, whatever you're doing right now, that's why I keep telling you, don't do it alone. Go to the platforms where you work from and do it with other people. I wouldn't want to say experiment on other people, but those are your encounters, the people you meet, the places you're in. You have to have collaboration while you are doing what you're doing. Then you must have a vision. Focus on the long-term objectives. I need to think about things totally different. Focus on the long-term objectives. How can I help maybe my teammates or employees, or understand how the work contributes to the organization's success? Now, you see, I'm bringing something from light. It's transformational. The moment you involve in problem solving, you don't solve problems alone. You solve problems with people. That's what you're going to have, people along with you. You're going to have a vision for the future along with other people. Then you're going to have goals and direction. Transformational leadership provides a clear direction because it's step by step. It's very practical. It's very experiential. You're going to set the goals, and that's what I've been telling you every day. You're going to make sure that they are achievable, yet they are challenging you enough to motivate you. That's why you're experiencing those problems. They are challenging you. They are challenging you, but they are guiding how you're going to reach those goals and support your fellow team members or employees throughout the process. Don't do things alone. You see, their relationship was very participatory. Everybody participated. These are the disciples. This was the blind man. This was Jesus. All of them, the three, participated in the whole process, which empowers, which empowers. You give people autonomy, you give people responsibility over their work when they are. So, and even if you're not yet a leader, I want your mind to now think big. If I am put in a position of leadership, we don't start from there. We start from these small things, the small problems that you can solve. That's what makes a good leader. David with the sheep. That's what makes a good leader. When you empower people, you encourage innovation, creativity, and at the same time, they are developing their skills and building confidence. You're doing it with them. I just wanted to show you how the human blueprint is connected to the Blind Man's series. And when you have an understanding, because remember, I took you through the transformation process. You first have an encounter, then you are exposed, then you reconcile, then there's integration, then there's sustainability, revelation, discernment, like the whole, the story behind this blind man. It was not just a miracle story, it was a transformational blueprint. As we go on, lesson 2, lesson 3, you're going to receive a lot of revelations. It shows how you can move progressively from darkness to light, from limitation to clarity. If you are confused, now you're going to start discerning. And ultimately, purpose. I'm showing you the journey of purpose. And this transformation that I keep talking about is confirmation. So let me give you, you'll see that the class has changed a little bit in the way, in the format I am. That's why you're a bit quiet. But I want you to, the reason as to why I'm taking it the direction that I'm taking is because of the fact that we have a transformation process that we are, we already went through. And what I'm doing right now is giving you case studies so that you can have your encounters, you can have your exposures, you can have your reconciliation, you can integrate. So each and every lesson that I'm giving you case studies are for you to be able to relate as you create your roadmap, as you implement, as you build, because we want to have outcome on your part. When it's easier for you to remember from examples than me just giving you English. Now the word transformation, then navigate. Then I want to give you practical examples so that when you are experiencing anything that you're experiencing, you can make reference to, but Jacinta was like this. Oh, the way they was like, oh, the other landlord, oh, the other man. You will make reference to people and what they have practically gone through. You get? So, for example, are you seeing that spiritual leadership graph? Yeah, there's vision, there's hope, there's altruistic love, which what is embedded in that is values, attitudes, behaviors. It starts with a vision. For you to get hope, for you to have faith, for you to have love, for you to have look at behavior, there must be a vision. So you must have a vision. And I asked you then, I said, do you have a vision? From vision, that's faith. From when you have vision, then you have faith. Let me keep pushing. When you have vision, you have love for what you're doing. When you have vision, it's going to influence your behavior. When you have vision, it's going to influence your attitude. It's going to enable you to develop values. These are my values. Eh? When you have vision, that's when you're going to get to know what is my calling. Because from the vision, that's where you have clarity. How am I supposed to make a difference? How can my life have meaning? How can my community understand me very well? What are the needs of the people? What am I solving? What is the commitment on my part? The productivity. There must be a vision, guys. So I'm going to take you through this. But before I go on, can I have any questions or anything anybody wants to talk about before I go on with this framework? Because I want to explain to you how the blind man's experience directly explains the framework, is related to the framework. Any questions? When it is new, it's a bit, it takes some time to internalize, but I'm sure you're getting the case study a bit. This one is really talking about blindness, and I think that is one area that so many people, an area that people struggle with blindness. So, any questions before I go for it? Are we still okay? Grace, Casey, Mia, are we okay? Sim, are we okay? Juliet, are we fine? Hmm? Okay, good. Good to hear. Just needed to know if you're still fine up to this point. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. Are we understanding? It's not difficult. It's just transformation and it's deeper. Okay, so when we look at this transformation framework that I have put up for you there, whatever you encounter, I want you to see the relation at each stage, okay? So the framework says what you face shapes your journey. That is the encounter. What was the illustration in the story? Jesus passed by. You're trying to understand, okay? What did the blind man encounter? Jesus passed by. And like I said, transformation begins with divine encounters. If he had not had this encounter, before healing came, visibility came. Before healing came, attention came. Before healing came, divine interruption came. Are you seeing what happens? I want you to understand why you're having the interruptions that you're having. Why all of a sudden is there attention to this particular area of your life? You're probably uncomfortable it being revealed. Let's say it was financial mismanagement, but now it's out in the open. Visibility has come to that area of darkness. So before management of finance or financial management or good practices come in, you have to be exposed. Unfortunately, attention is going to come to that particular area, which is sometimes uncomfortable for you. That's what we say. Transformation begins with an encounter with visibility of that particular problem, not only to you, but it may even be to the public. Yes, Juliet. Because I want you to understand deeply what transformation means. Because attention is now being put on you. And you feel so most of the times it's uncomfortable. It's probably interfering with your normal day-to-day activities. You see, whatever we ignore and we cover up, we cover up, we cover up, when it is time for transformation, everything will be out in the light. And you feel so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. Then let's go to how is the exposure part related to this blind man in this particular area. I want to show you transformation. So I want you to also relate with your daily life. This is this man's daily life who is sitting on the street. Okay? So the blind in when it comes to exposure is about awareness. His condition was exposed publicly. What happened? The disciples immediately began discussing, who is to blame, the parents or him? Eh, did he sin? They were judging, meaning the exposure can be public. An awareness has come to that area, maybe you had hidden it. And for you, sometimes you may take it that we are being shamed. Not necessarily. It's because deliverance is coming ahead of you, or restoration, or light, or it's time for that thing to come to an end. And exposure is not for shame, it is for awareness. You see, the lady that I met yesterday, the conflicts that she was having exposed emotional wounds. She needed a conflict to expose the emotional wounds. She probably had never ever imagined that there's reflection in life, and she had to sit down and reflect. Why is it coming at this time? What are those areas that need my maturity? Maybe I've been acting young and I need to style up. When there is no exposure, there is no illumination. So you see how the exposure comes in with the man? The disciples started discussing. Then when it gets to the revelation part, hmm, revelation is all about clarity. Because something is not known to you, meaning the area is dark. But now you receive revelation. That is clarity. That entire conversation shifted when Jesus told the disciples, "You're asking the wrong questions." This is the revelation. Hmm? That's where light enters the whole situation. The issue that they were experiencing at that particular moment was no longer blame, it was no longer accusation, it was no longer punishment. No, there was no need to say, who did this? There was no room for accusation. There was no need for accusation because what value add are all these blaming, accusations, punishment? What is the value addition there? No, 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 no. Now let's just switch our perceptions. And the issue became clarity. Ah, there's purpose in this pain. Ah, they need to teach. Oh, what can God reveal through that particular challenge? What is going to manifest from that situation? And that's exactly what the widow was also experiencing in the empty vessel series. Light entered her darkness through instruction. Go collect vessels, enter the house, then look. That was when light entered. Now you also need to ask yourself, which area of my life do I need revelation? An area of my life that is dark, like the woman, all she needed was an instruction. Like this gentleman, all he needed was someone to pass by. Because every situation is different. Do you see why the human blueprint is unique? Each and everyone has their unique challenge, unique experiences. So when you compare, copy, struggle, just wait for your time and have your own experience and then solve your own problem. So you can also stand firm and say, yeah, without copying and pasting. But it takes sacrifice. And then you have to go through the transformation process. Now, when it comes to discernment, what is the wisdom here? Hmm? Because discernment is the ability to see correctly. Okay? Separate the right from wrong. Whereas the disciples were seeing sin, Jesus was seeing purpose. And the lady I'm talking about that I had an encounter with yesterday, she was seeing rejection. She wasn't seeing that there was a need for her to work on these areas, but she was seeing rejection. And through conversation back and forth here, light revealed the responsibility that she had to play on her part, the healing that was required on her part, and the growth opportunities. Because now they're going to move from that level where they are in that relationship to another level because of the way they have proactively solved the problem. That everything doesn't have to end up into, let us just separate. So, in the next level of purpose, that blind man's story did not end privately. His transformation became public evidence because it was on the street. Are you seeing the purpose? And the purpose is for impact. And it confirms the final stage of the framework purpose. You impact others with what you have been refined to carry. Your pain becomes wisdom for another person. Your pain becomes leadership. Your pain becomes clarity, probably for another person. Your pain can become mentorship, transformation for other people, not just for you. And when you look at the human blueprint journey, it's a journey from blindness to purpose. The past few weeks, we're talking about the Empty Vessel series, from emptiness to inheritance. Still through divine encounters, revelation, discernment, transformation. Every challenge contains an exposure. Every exposure has a revelation that is giving you. Every revelation is going to demand a response from you, because it's not for free. It's going to demand a response from you. And every response is going to shape your purpose. You see how you build your own human blueprint, you create your own roadmap each and every time. Yesterday is different from today. Tomorrow is going to be different from today. So when you create that roadmap on a daily and put in the effort, you will see what is going to turn out. What you may think now that that is my purpose may not necessarily be it. You see, when we talk about the blind man's transformation journey, he encountered Jesus, it was exposed publicly, the wrong perceptions were corrected that either he had sinned or his parents had sinned. Then what happened? Truth was revealed through obedience. All he needed to do was to sit and be still and wait. He was obeying. And for the disciples, discernment was developed. Responsibility was embraced. Okay, so the next time we find people, because what was happening is Jesus was modeling out for them, patterning out for them what they're going to be doing in their ministry. They're going to go out there and also, first of all, embrace responsibility, discern the challenges that they find that people are experiencing, and solve them proactively, not emotionally. So if that man who was not even seeing who was standing in front of him had faith, what about you? And the disciples' character was refined through that opposition. They're like, we've been challenged. So when your perception is changed, then your character somehow goes through some refinement there. Because your attitude changes. The way you see things, you stop seeing things through naked eyes. And at the end of the day, the blind man's transformation journey manifested purpose publicly. Publicly. That's why I've been asking you to go back to the human blueprint model and start ensuring that on a daily, note your encounters. What have they exposed or uncovered? What is the decision that you have taken? Does it require you to align or heal? How do you move forward differently? Like, just go through on a daily. Do with time, you won't even need a book and a pen. It will just flow. But before I close, let me ask you some questions. I may not have written them down. Let me just ask you some questions. What area of your life do you currently feel like it's dark and it's confusing? What area of your life do you currently feel is dark and confusing? Let me type your other questions. What area of your life do you currently feel that this is dark, this is confusing? Is there any area of your life? Based on the conversation that we've had today, what is that area of your life that feels dark and confusing? Anyone share? Then I can ask you the second question, if you don't mind. Marriage. Okay. So you see that every time you answer those kind of questions, you give God an opportunity to answer you. You understand? So you can write it down where you are, okay? And just ask for answers if it's not very comfortable sharing here. But then you can also ask yourself a question. Are you focusing more on blaming than understanding? Are you focusing more on blaming than understanding? Hmm. Hi, Brenda. You are actually really late. You're really late. You've missed. And we've just started a new series. But it's okay. It's recorded. You can go back and watch. Okay? So, but good afternoon to you too. So, as I was asking, are you focusing more on blaming than understanding? What are you focusing on? Yes, you are blaming. Okay. Anybody else? Are you focusing more on when you acknowledge that yes, I'm blaming, now I have changed my perception. I'm not going to blame anymore. I'm going to start seeing things totally different. Because they were blaming, they said, is it the guy who sinned or his parents? They were blaming. They were judging immediately. Were you understanding? Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. That's also good. That's also good. Yeah. So question 3. What if I am asking the wrong question about my situation? Have you imagined or seen your understanding? Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, what if you are asking the wrong question about that situation that you are currently dark or confused about? Do you think you could be asking the wrong question? Do you think you could be asking the wrong question? Brenda, for purposes of understanding, we're talking about the blind man as a case study when we are looking at the human blueprint transformation process that I gave you. The case study that we had before was for the widow with her oil. And we saw how she came from emptiness to inheritance through the 11 lessons that we had. Now we are having the blind man, totally different situation. The other one, the burden was a date. This one, the burden is he's blind, he can't see. Yeah. That's why each and every one of us has their unique differentiating factor, meaning a problem is going to come specifically to you as long as you have the antidote for that problem. So when it comes to you, question is how do you approach it? So the case studies I'm taking you through are giving you light, okay, understanding how to navigate your pathways, okay, so that you can be able to move without a doubt, knowing that I'm not wasting time. Whatever I'm doing here, it's going to yield. Okay. So what are you could you be asking the wrong questions about your situation? Okay, Mia, you said you're blaming. Grace, you said yes to the question. Are you asking the wrong question? Okay. Now that you know, you see, the most important thing is for you to understand. The most important thing is for you to know. Every time you're ignorant about something, I mean, there'll be no difference. So the other fourth question is what area of your life needs illumination rather than frustration? Like the example that I gave you, she was very frustrated. She was crying. She knew things were done for her. It is over. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do about this and all. But all she needed was clarity in that particular area that she was experiencing. And she received the clarity. Yeah. So when she received the clarity, she knew exactly what she needed to do. So she started applying. Her perception changed. She stopped crying. She now realized she needed to pay attention to what she needed to do more than the challenge she was experiencing. And who has God placed in your life to help you see what you cannot truly currently see? Now, that one is also very important. You remember, I've been talking about accountability partners. Who has God placed in your life to help you see what you cannot currently see? You cannot work in isolation. You cannot do this thing alone, right? You need someone to help you to see where you cannot see. So if you have that person, big ups, kudos, like you usually say. Hmm? Then question 5. Could this challenge be exposing an area that requires growth, healing, or maturity? The network is disturbing me or you? Is it me? Is it okay now? Is the network fine now? So, like I was asking, could this challenge be exposing an area that requires growth, healing, or maturity? Oh, it's okay. Thank you. Okay. So, I would like to conclude. As we build up, it will get more interesting. Yeah. Right now, it's new, and I can see your participation is a little bit low because you are probably reflecting on and relating it to your own story. Okay. But it's okay. You see how it's related slowly by slowly, and you'll catch up, and it will be much easier. Okay. So when you look at the blind man's transformation, yes, we're just in the beginning of the whole series. It's not that he has transformed yet, but the fact that it has already begun, it shows you what leads to the encounter. I've given you what leads to the encounter, and that's exactly what you need to understand even before the encounter happens. What leads to it? What are the signs that you're picking on? What are the patterns that you have actually realized? Every time I experience this kind of patterns, there's an encounter that's actually coming. So his transformation did not begin with healing, it began with him being seen. Do you need to be seen? So are you positioned where you need to be seen? Remember when we last almost last lesson we talked about positioning in the empty vessel series. He was positioned where he needed to be seen. What if he was behind? He wouldn't have been seen. So that's why I want you to think about, even before the encounter happens, where are you? Where are you? And you see, many people remain trapped not because solutions do not exist, but because light has not yet entered the area that they are struggling with. Light needs to enter in the area that you're struggling with. And that's why we ask God, give me encounters. That's why we follow instructions. That's why we are obedient. So that we can follow in the footpaths that He has created, or footsteps that He has created for us. And then we are going to encounter what we did not expect. Because when light comes in that area of darkness, your perception is going to change, your understanding is going to emerge, the healing is going to begin, and you're going to start seeing visibly a change. You're going to see the hand of God in your life visibly. The journey from darkness to light has begun. If you have been experiencing darkness, your journey has begun. And this is just the beginning of the case study. So I just wait for more that's going to unravel from this story of the blind man. This is just the beginning. We will be able to uncover how God transforms blindness into vision, the vision that I've kept on asking you. Do you have a vision? So you see, this is where you're going to prepare yourselves. If you don't have a vision, now you're going to have your book ready to start creating your own vision board. Because you're going to start seeing how we uncover, how God transforms blindness to vision, confusion into clarity, and then eventually the illumination into purpose. Because we move from encounters to purpose. Transformed to transform other people. But there must have been a disruption. There must have been visibility. There must have been, it must have been seen. There must have been something that occasioned it. So, what area of your life needs light? What area of your life needs light? Hmm? Not every battle needs money. Not every challenge needs you to run away from it. No, you don't have to escape all the time. Some situations just need light and your patience, and you sit in the problem sometimes. And before you know it, the solution is back. And by the way, let me tell you, the hardest challenges in your life, you'll be very surprised. The hardest, the thing that has hurt you the most is where God shines the light so bright on that particular area of your life and makes you a wonder. That area that has tormented you the most. That area, but are you patient enough to sit and wait like the blind man who sat and light came? So don't ask who is to blame. Ask, what is God trying to reveal through this pain? And be patient. You will see it. So, unless anyone has something to say, that is it for our class today. Anyone has something to say? We are moving from darkness to light. So those areas that have been dark, that were obscured, now we are moving to light. Whatever has been blocking, hindering, obstacles, God is shining light in those areas. Do you have anything to say? Brenda, reflecting? Grace, Mia, what is happening? Are we reflecting? Your understanding needs a lot of light, okay? Ask and you will receive. No, I will just go and watch again, okay? That's okay. Oh, thank you very much, Grace. And you're welcome. Anybody else? Sim, is all okay? Mia, is everything fine? Juliet, is all well? Otherwise, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and take dominion in your specific areas that you are identifying. Don't cross jurisdiction and go in an area that is not yours. Take dominion in that area God has, that is starting to shine light on, because that is where He has anointed you greatly. You're welcome. You're welcome. But we are moving from obscurity to visibility. Okay? That's for the season that we're in right now. Thank you very much, Sim. I also do appreciate the fact that you give me time and you come and you're available to do this. I mean, it takes commitment, it takes some willingness for you to commit. And I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. Otherwise, I wish you a very beautiful day. I wish you a very beautiful weekend. Today is Friday, remember. Monday we continue moving from darkness to light. Hajara, I hope you're also there. And I hope all is well. I hope you didn't jump off. But I'll see you guys on Monday. Okay. Bye bye.